And just drops it into the onside. So 59 for 2 now, India 8. Another 35 minutes-ish until they'll stop and have a spot of lunch. So plenty of time, plenty of overs to get in before then. 2 wickets to go down so far in this morning session. Both the openers now back in the dressing room. Played late, just finds that bottom edge. Not really a lot of foot movement from Khan.
Yeah, if Lions get another breakthrough now, they'll go to lunch extremely happy. For India A here, they just really got to hold it out.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. These two just got to build something here.
Nothing too outgoing, I'd say.
Don't do a Jaiswal.
Don't do a Jaiswal.
Again, bit of extra aggression from Jack. He's finding some really good pace. Down the leg side this time. Up at 83 miles an hour, so be very happy with this. A few good paces early on in this England Lions setup.
Averages 65.6 in first class cricket, Sarfaraz Khan.
You'd take that, wouldn't you?
Take that. Oh. There was a lot of talk about him being called up into that main squad.
Struck on the pad this time. Big appeal, umpire unmoved. But a great over. Perhaps a little high above the knee roll. Maiden over again. 19 overs gone. India A 59 for 2.
Trapped on the crease a little bit there, Sarfaraz Khan. His head just tippling over. It's going to just disrupt his perception of the line there, and kind of looked like it did so on that final delivery. 19 overs gone. 59 for 2 now on 14. Khan with 5 to his name still. We're just 35 minutes away from lunch here at Canterbury. Well, they're talking about lunch. I'm seeing plenty of people bringing their picnics through. Up there, in from the Nackington Road end. And this is nicely clipped off the hips by now. And it will just be the single. We've just had an influx of spectators just in front of us.
It's as if a bus has just arrived.
It's nice to see. Get yourselves down here to Canterbury. England Lions won the toss, have put India A into bat. India A having lost the 2 wickets already. Abhimanyu Ishwaran, the captain, first to go. Trapped LBW off the bowling of Josh Hull. And then just recently, Yashasvi Jaiswal caught behind off the bowling of Jack. As in comes Akhtar. There's a faint appeal, and they will scamper through, and there should be a leg by. It is.
That was, as far as muted appeals go and sort of non-enthusiastic, I'll give it a sort of 1.5 out of 10. There was a few arms, but not really. But figured, why not ask the question?
Three slips and a gully for now. Well, this one comes through with a little bit of zip outside the off stump from Akhtar. Just seemed like a bit more of an effort delivery.
Yeah, it's really kicked up off the pitch as well. It's up underneath, below the 80 miles an hour, but it seemed to just find a little something in the pitch. And Naya, not the tallest of batters, watches it fly through.
Ooh. And that's been... Has that been caught behind? The slip cordon's gone up. The whole England Lions side has gone up. Niall seems unmoved.
They were almost coming in to celebrate, as if it was a given. Let's see this one again.
Oh no, that's gone between the gap. That was extremely close. It's gone between the gap. England Lions had something else in mind though. 61 for 2, India A. Akhtar. Ready to go. A very, very extravagant leave. I love those leaves. Great leaves.
Yeah, the full-on hold your arms completely above your head.
In terms of leave, I think Steve Smith has to be up there with one of the most extravagant looking leaves in the game. And again, not disturbing Karan now outside the off stump. And that will conclude the end of the 20th over. 61 for 2 here, India A. 70 overs remaining in the day.
Yes, at this point it's about this partnership staying together and building nicely as they head towards the lunch break in around, exactly half an hour's time. Naya, he's been out there a while now, faced 39. He's watched Jaiswal go after he came in when the captain was dismissed. Again, still the 3 slips in the gully. Jack to bowl his 5th. And a completely different kind of leave, this one, as opposed to the exuberant, extravagant of the previous over. This one just watches it fly through. Kept a little lower this time. Khan still batting in the sleeveless jumper, I think. Yeah, still got his sleeveless jumper on, so not too hot yet in the sunshine. Glorious looking stroke. That one's going to be 4. There's no point chasing that, except to fetch the ball from beyond the boundary.
That's an absolutely lovely stroke there from Sarfraz Khan. He likes that off-stump line. He can get his hands through, and he's done exactly that. No mid-off in sight, and that will find the boundary. That line he will like. Something slightly more on that middle leg line will cause a bit of challenge to Sarfraz.
Right, how does Jack respond to this? Straying down the leg side this time, so just sort of a slight overcorrection.
That's quite the spray down leg side. 82 miles an hour from Jack. Staying in the early 80s.
Oh, that's well kept out. He got his bat down super late to that one.
Yeah, that bat just coming down a little bit of an angle. That's why I said, Georgie, just a bit earlier that he might struggle with that middle leg line. That bat coming down an angle just kind of closes himself off.
Yeah, good response this from Jack, though. Can't still yet to get into the double figures. 9 from the 14 he's faced. And again, keeps this down. Now, aside from that one delivery from Jack in this over, it's been really tight, nice stuff from him. Just gave it a little too much width, a little too full earlier for that glorious looking cover drive.
I might have a little bit of a bluff going on here. Square leg's just been sent out onto the boundary now.
Final delivery of this over. Struck on the pad this time, big appeal. It'll be a dot to finish off the over, sliding down leg, coming at that angle from Jack. Up at 81 miles an hour again though, so 4 off the over, 21 gone. India A 65 for 2.
My goodness, he's gone extremely early on that one, Sarfraz. If you just look again at his foot placement, he's going to get himself caught on that line, and again, that's not looking too comfortable for him. And he's not going to be on strike now against Akhtar. It's going to be Karan now. He's gone extremely early on that last shot. 65 for 2, India A. As I believe we're going to see a bit of Josh Hull again. He's going to come back into the attack from the Nackington Road end. They've had their experiment with Zaman Akhtar. I'm just adjusting the field here now. So 2 slips and a leg slip for now. We've got short mid-wicket in place as well. This one, spray down the leg side from Hull, first delivery. Back. And he's staying left arm over to the right-hander. There's one thing I've noticed with the Lions seamers, they're really trying to get the India batters to go with that angle, taking the ball across from the right-hander and away, across from the left-hander as well, trying to tempt them in. That off-stump line can be a bit of a funny one. Do you play at it? Do you let it go? Or do you get caught in the middle and get the slip cordon into play? Well, he's not going to get any of the slip cordon into play with that one. Nicely out the middle of the bat, straight to mid-off. Going through the field here. So we've got 2 slips, a point. No one down on the boundary. Mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, and a fine leg in place for Karunar. There's Hull. Turns at the top of his mark at the Nackington Road end and is ready to set off against the Karnataka. Oh, and this one is absolutely up and over the slip cordon. It's a shorter delivery from Hull. Bit of width there, taking it across from the right-hander batter. That's going to be 4 runs. That's absolutely flown through to the boundary.
Yeah, well, I think with that extra bit of bounce coming from the 6'7" hulking figure of Josh Hull, he's just managed to find a top edge on it, and he's quick wrists through that, and then he rehearses the shot afterwards as if it was all completely intentional, just playing it over the slips. Picks up another 4.
He seems to have pretty good control on that one. How's Hull going to come back to that? That's exactly how he is. Down the leg side, taken by Rue.
Yes, that overcompensation again, isn't it?
Absolutely. India's a 69 for 2. Plenty of spectators still making their way into the ground as we approach lunch on day 1. Nicely ducked under by now. I feel like he's come back now, Josh Hull, with a bit more aggression in him.
Yeah, I do like that they've trusted to go back to him. It's a good decision this from Rue, because it's just given him that little bit of time. He's come back and he's got that extra spice again. There's a few extra kilometres an hour, miles an hour, whichever you feel like working in. And using his height nicely.
Ready to go again. Forward and right under his eyes. Here now, just opens the face of the bat. That's straight to point, and that will conclude the end of the 22nd over. India A 69 for 2. Khan with 9 to his name, now with 19.
I think James Roux is going to continue with Jack from the pavilion end. Bowled his 5 on the trot so far. Picked up the 1 wicket, obviously. Yashasvi Jaiswal having a wild swing, I think we would call it.
I do think James Roux has also given a couple of the players a keep yourself warm, I might come to you sort of sign, because I'm seeing a few of them roll their arms around as well.
It's either keep yourself warm or they're gone, I'm going to catch his eye, and started going through. Have you ever seen that? You know, when bowlers are like, I really want the captain's ring, I'm going to go through my warm-up actions. As Jack is in now. That's just dropped down to gully. Yeah, you do sometimes see it, don't you, when bowlers have decided, right, I do want to come back on, so I'm going to start going through the motions, through the stretching. And I think I like seeing a little bit of sportsmanship, just doing up the batter's laces. If that were me, I'd be tying the 2 shoes together and walking off.
You wouldn't be getting a fair play award for that one, Georgie Heath. That's for sure.
I get the comedy award, though, when he falls over.
Just delay the game some more. The umpires wouldn't be happy with you, that's for sure.
Yeah, not sure I'll be seeing much of my match fee. Here's Jack. Again, just pushed off the back foot. Again, no run.
The clouds have nearly escaped us here at Canterbury now. It's blue sky over the ground. Well, majority blue sky.
Yeah, glorious day to come watch. Carbon copy almost of the previous shot and previous delivery. Again, just dropped down to gully. Score remains India A 69 for 2 after they were put into bat this morning when James Roux won the toss and decided they wanted to have a bowl first. I like to say have a bowl first because no one chooses to field. You choose to bowl.
See, I was having a discussion with someone else the other day whilst I was on comms, and we said, do you say, it depends on the generation you're from, apparently.
Oh, that's really well bowled. The full Yorker length, well kept out as well. Just managed to jam his bat down in time. Because I would say choose to bowl.
It would make sense because that's the main discipline, right? You wouldn't say, oh, I've chosen to have a field.
And what if you're the captain? And with James Roux, you could have said, well, I choose to wicket keep.
Just doesn't sound right. Doesn't have a good ring to it.
I definitely don't choose to wicket keep. Here comes Jack again. And again, it's just clipped away. Josh Hull comes flying round. Doesn't take much for him to chew up the yards, those long strides. Bit of a wayward throw. Well backed up in the end.
Still the 3 slips and gully in play.
Jack just waiting at the top of his mark. Here he comes. Final delivery of this over. Just 2 from it so far. Again, clipped away. Almost carbon copy again. Hull comes galloping round. And this time it would be 1. So 3 off the over in the end. The end of 23. India A 72 for 2. Khan 12 from 22. Now 19 from the 45 he's faced. So going along at just over 3 and over still. India A. And a good rebuild since losing the wicket of Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Absolutely, and I know there'll be a lot of eyes on this game here today at Canterbury. People will be really making sure that they can see the top order here. Get a serious, strong start. Big series ahead this summer. England versus India, 5 test matches, begins on the 20th of June at Headingley. Here's Josh Hull. In it to Khan, and this one's just left alone outside the off stump. Quickly back to the top of his mark here. Hull as he's ready to go in again. And this one clipped into the leg side. And will just come through for a simple single. Strolls through for that one. Hit pretty high up on the back there of Khan.
Yeah, well, it's coming down from that height, isn't it, of Hull. He doesn't really have to try too hard just to get that extra bounce because it comes down from such a height.
Yeah, that's staying in there. Where's this stuff? That's going into this one. It's to do with this because yeah, that monitor will only see the
Nair on strike.
Yeah.
3 slips in place. Is this one just pushed to point? Again, good composure from Nair so far for what we've seen of him this morning.
That will only show the scoreboard, I think.
Yeah, he's not really shown any, he's not been risky, he's not really shown any signs of trying to go into white ball mode at any point, not losing his head. He's well set now. Now just going to have to see it out to lunch at the moment.
Which is only 15 minutes away. Played it ever so late once again. Doesn't seem like he's in any rush. Georgie, I'm trying to get over the dismissal of Yashasvi Jaiswal. He was caught behind off the bowling of Jack. And he just went all guns blazing at this delivery. Lost his shape. Really looked to eye up the leg side. I just don't think that's what it called for at that moment in the game.
Output one can just be on Manchester. And then once we've powered that match.
Oh, beautiful delivery there from Hull.
Yeah, really good stuff. Just beating that edge. So just under 15 minutes to go until lunch here at the Spitfire ground in Canterbury. Nice healthy crowd here in the sunshine, enjoying their Friday. Games of cricket and football going on around the outfield. Kids are in, families.
Our left arm over. You know, this is beautifully timed off the back foot here. It's not going to go all the way. We have a slow outfield. But he's played that ever so well. And that should conclude the end of the over as well. 24 overs gone. And India A are 75 for 2 at the end of that. Nair moves on to 21. Khan on 13. And I believe, are we going to see a bit of Zaman Akhtar back into the attack from the pavilion end?
It seems like the case. He's taken his jumper off and he decided that it's time to have a change of ends. He's bowled really well today. So Eddie Jack done for now. 16. 1 for 16 from his 6.
Doesn't fancy the Nackington Road end anymore.
So gone for just the 9 runs as well so far. So he's been really economical. And I think that's what you want to do. Just build that little bit of extra pressure. Especially as we head towards that lunch break. If they can break this partnership, they'll feel really confident heading towards their lunch. And it will taste just that bit better. Here is And that's just kicked up.
That took off a fair bit. Kept his eyes on it well, did Sarfraz Khan.
That's good there. Should be working. Why is that on front?
Still wearing his short sleeve sweater. Is that a sweater or is it a jumper?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would call it a jumper, I think. You've got me thinking now. It's just dropped again, down late hands and drops in front of him. I'm going to say jumper, because I feel like that's the English word. But a short sleeve, I just can't say short sleeve sweater, so I'm going to go with jumper. My mum would call it a gansey, but she's old, so.
Maybe it's a gansey.
No, I think apparently it's an Irish word, gansey.
Learn something new every day.
There you go, every day's a school day. And again, just drops his hands on this one.
Squirts him open a little bit, that one, from Akhtar. Takes a nice little walk towards the square leg umpire. Clears his head. So Sarfraz Khan, he's on 13.
When I put one in his program, and out to camera. So now when I do this, I need to plug that back in.
Again, finding that fuller length. Just drops his hands, drops his bat down in front of him. Really good over this from Akhtar so far. Just trying to build that bit of pressure. These two look very comfortable out in the middle. They don't look like they're going to get flustered if they're not finding boundaries and finding runs. They've got plenty of time in the game. Still in the morning session of day one here at the Spitfire ground. Here comes Akhtar. Well, that is just perfect placement. Straight between that third slip and sort of a wide gully position. Breaks the shackles on this over and picks up 4.
Yeah, that's a lovely looking stroke there from Sarfraz Khan. As he just rocks onto the back foot. Opens the face of the bat and guides that down towards the boundary. He spotted the gap earlier. And there's a slight little bit of width there from Akhtar. Allows him to guide that down. He moves on to 17.
One more to come in this over, 25th over. And again, just that bit fuller again. Rian Ahmed doesn't quite field it cleanly. Stops the run. So 4 off the over, 25 gone. India A, 79 for 2. Heading towards lunch in around 9 minutes' time. As you say, there's a few around with their picnics already.
Should get another 3 overs or so squeezed in. Maybe 2. Depends how long it takes for them to get through them. But still Josh Hull from the Nackington Road end. Taking the gully out now. So just the 3 slips in play. As Hull makes his way into now. And that is beautifully driven through the offside. And then that's going to race away down towards the boundary. He leans into it, full face of the bat. Absolutely delightful there from Karunar. And India A move on to 83 for 2.
Well, it's the kind of shot you take straight out of a textbook, isn't it? This one, just a little foot movement early, so perfectly balanced.
Balance tick, head position tick, everything. Tick, tick, tick. There's Jack Hull, Josh Hull receives the ball at the top of his mark from the Nackington Road end and it's ready to set off once again. Oh, and he didn't like being hit for a 4 the ball before that. He's come in and bunged this one in short. No, just ducks underneath. James Drew has a bit of a chuckle to himself as he takes that one. I think they probably expected that. Josh, I was saying, you want to drive me through the covers for 4? Well, let's just wait and see.
It's so cricket, isn't it? It's just such a conversation without words.
I love that. It's just so cricket. Clipped away off the hits now, down towards fine leg. Oh, he should come back for 2 here, and they do, comfortably. Score will move on to 85 for 2. And now just looking more and more comfortable as he goes on.
Yeah, his partnership building really nicely, now 34. They came together when Jaiswal fell out. The score was 51 for 2 at the time. So they've rebuilt really nicely since then, and now just looking to stay out there till the lunch break and beyond.
This one just angling back into him a little bit. As close as the face of the bat there. There's Naya. Again, he's playing every ball on merit here. Doesn't seem like he's getting ahead of himself at all.
I think that's what we found such a confusing aspect of Jaiswal's dismissal, wasn't it? He was leaving it so nicely.
I think that's one dismissal we're going to be talking about for the rest of this game, rest of today and the next 3 days for sure.
And I know he likes to play an aggressive game and he likes to play his shots.
Completely came into T20 mode there. This one will squirt into the leg side. They'll want the second, but some good fielding in the deep.
Yeah, Eddie Jack flying around off the boundary. Fresh legs, a few overs off now since he last bowled.
Yeah, they were considering the second, and then Jack completely chasing in from the rope there. Khan on 17 takes in the field. 2 men out on the leg side. Fine leg and a deep square. Oh, and this is a short one, and my goodness, is Sarfaraz Khan flexible. As he was very tempted to send that up and over the slip cordon, and just suddenly it was as though he remembered that this is red ball cricket and opts out of it. That will conclude the end of the 26th over, 86 for 2.
This is an absolutely bonkers looking position he gets himself into. How he's not fallen over backwards, I have no idea. This is he's gone full Matrix at this point.
I really hope the photographer at the ground has captured that, because I don't think the human body's actually used to bending like that.
No, I'd have continued momentum that way, straight on my back.
Well, apparently yoga's very good for you.
Yeah, Weston. He's just practicing it out in the middle. I don't even know what that's called. He's almost got himself into a bridge.
86 for 2. Zamanakta to continue from the pavilion end.
Yeah, good stuff so far. Just the 13 runs off his first 6 overs. And again, just plays this respectfully, does Naya. The wind is just building up a little bit again out here, Nikki. Just blustering across. I can see a few shirts in front of us just blowing around. The Indian flag. And the flag of St. George as well. Blustering over at the pavilion end, where Akhtar starts his run up again. And not timed this by Naya, just a bottom edge into the ground, rehearsing the shot. I think we might be in one of the busiest parts of the ground over here. It's like Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah, all sorts going on right here in front of us.
Just lets this one go through. Not going to be tempted by that. Marine's on 26 now from 57 he's faced Naya. So just 2 minutes to go until the scheduled lunch break. Another 3 deliveries to come in this over. Again, good pace, well left. A genuine leave. Been really impressed by Akhtar today. He's been economical. He's been right up there on the pace. He's now performed from both ends. So James Roux know that he can turn to him from both the Nackington Road and the Pavilion end. And he's performed really well so far. Again, another dot. Tidy over this. No runs yet coming from it.
Lovely looking front foot defence there from Karan Nair. Really sticks to his method, knows his game so well. Doesn't mind taking his time.
The final delivery of the over from Akhtar, his 7th over. And just let fly through to James Roux behind the stump. So a maiden over again. And that will be the last over before lunch. Umpires taking the bails. And both teams will head off. India A, 86 for 2 after this morning session. England Lions, they won the toss and they put India A into bat. And it was the early wicket of the captain. The first wicket to go down, Eshwaran LBW to Hull. And then Yashasvi Jaiswal, the second to go down at 51 for 2. But now a really good rebuild between Khan and Nair out in the middle.
And so players make their way off. They'll be happy having not lost another wicket here. India A making their way back into the pavilion now to have some lunch. 86 for 2. Khan with 17. Nair on 26. And we will take a short break here in the commentary box as well. Play to resume at 1:40, so we'll be back just a few moments before to bring you all the action from the afternoon session as India A continue their innings, 86 for 2.
For many, they wait for one call. And like you, I dreamt about it over and over again.
At home. At training. In the street. With friends.
You see, when you answer your call and you pull on the shirt, a fire is lit.
This is it. The team for you. You love it. You don't think of much else. Drawn to its past, its people,
2. India A, having lost the 2 wickets of the captain Abhimanyu Ishwaran, trapped LBW off the bowling of Josh Hull, and then we saw an extravagant shot from Yashasvi Jaiswal, ended up getting him caught behind off the bowling of Eddie Jack. And now, as the umpires James Middlebrook and Tom Lungley make their way out into the middle, it is about time for the afternoon session to get underway. You're listening to Georgie Heath and myself, Nikki Chowdhury. Georgie, thoughts on that first session?
Well, it's sort of honours shared, I think. Perhaps if the England Lions had taken one more wicket, they would have felt really on top heading into that lunch break. But it was sort of a bonus wicket, that of Jaiswal in the end. He sort of gave it away. But Nair and Khan have really put together a nice partnership. 35 for the partnership now, just building that towards going into lunch. And they're going to want to come out after lunch, just get themselves back in. They've got to reset and get their eye in again. And then they're going to look to try and push on from here. They've set a fair enough foundation going along at round 3 and over, so they won't be too unhappy with that. But they don't want to lose any more wickets quickly after lunch, and that's something we can see so often, isn't it? After a break, a wicket can so easily fall. So these two will just be keen to continue the way they were playing so far. Partnership 35 now, and just playing the ball on its merits. Let the good ones go through and take on the bad ball.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been seeing that between Khan and Karun Nair out there in the middle just before we broke off for lunch, and as the batters and fielders make their way back onto the field, England Lions would be happy with those 2 early breakthroughs. Abhimanyu Ishwaran scoring 8 before he was trapped LBW, and then Yashasvi Jaiswal 24 to his name. Still trying to process that dismissal of his. If you caught it on the replay earlier, you might be questioning what mode of cricket he was playing. Well, it definitely wasn't red ball cricket, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was not quite out of the textbook. I think we'll go for that one. But England Lions would have been absolutely thrilled with that, and we saw Jack particularly was thrilled to take that wicket.
We're going to have a change in bowling from the Nackington Road end after lunch, and it's going to be Eddie Jack coming back into the attack. It was Josh Hull bowling from this end prior to the lunch break. And in runs Jack now. And this is a beautiful looking shot to get himself underway after lunch here from Karun Nair. Coverage from Sarfraz Khan. He leans into that beautifully. Bit of width there from Jack. First ball after lunch. And India A move on to 90 for 2.
Yeah, too much width this to start things off after lunch. Doesn't even have to think about running. Made such a nice noise off the bat. It's that sort of stand and deliver. Show the face of the bat. Make the bat makers happy.
Make sure those stickers are on full display. That's exactly what he did. Lovely full face of the bat. 3 slips in play. This one left alone outside the off stump by Khan. Not tempted. Watches it go through. Yeah, I think the Lions would have liked maybe 1 more wicket down before they went in for lunch. But yeah, these two putting on a good partnership. 39 between them now.
The wind is just picking up here at the Spitfire ground.
I don't think it's at the ground. It's just in this marquee, actually.
Just our little wind tunnel corner of the ground.
Oh, this one really cramps up Khan. Back of a length from Jack. It's just, again, the angle he brings his bat down at makes his life a lot more difficult for Sarfraz Khan. It comes down and just kind of closes himself off, and he's causing himself more struggle. He's on 21. A lovely shot to get himself underway after lunch. Drive through cover. Oh, this one beautifully clipped. It will find the fielder down at fine. But allow them to come through for a single.
Made a lovely crunch off the bat as well, that, didn't it? Sounded like he'd really got something on it. Ajit Singh Dale does the cleaning up out on the boundary.
Donning a headband. don't see many bowlers with a headband these days. I do like it. It's quite a fashion statement, don't you think? Coming up.
It was the post-COVID thing, wasn't it, initially?
Because no one could get their hair cut.
No one could get their hair cut, and everyone was too nervous to let anyone else do it for them.
Eddie Jack. Right arm over the wicket. Oh, this one is guided down back towards Ajit Singh Dale. A bit uppishly, but there's no leg slip in play. So that will be safe for Sarfraz Khan. India aiming on to 92 for 2.
Yeah, it definitely was a post-COVID thing, the headband. And obviously Stuart Broad continued it, the sort of Karate Kid white headband. He enjoyed that one right through his career, I think. Did he keep it till the end? I think he did. A lot of weird things that came out of COVID times, I guess.
Ooh, a little bit of zip on this one from Jack, and that one's left alone by Khan. And that will conclude the end of the first over after lunch. 28 overs gone, and India A are 92 for 2.
I think one of my favourite weird quirks that came out of the COVID times was figuring out which was your sweatiest teammate and using them when you couldn't spit on the ball anymore, and figuring out who had the sweatiest head that you could wipe the ball on. I think they figured out that it was Jack Leach, but I'm pretty sure that was in the England side. I was pretty sure because he had no hair, so he had the sweatiest head. So you could rub the ball on his head instead of spitting on it.
I don't know if you take that as a compliment or not. If one of your teammates come up to me like, right, we're going to use your head because it produces the most moisture to shine the ball.
I just wonder how you test it. You know, today we're doing fitness testing. Tomorrow we're doing who sweats the most testing. Strange one.
I think it will say.
So we are going back to the pace of Ajit Singh Dale, who bowled really well up the top, went for just the 17 runs from his 6 overs and was up there, up over the 80-mile-an-hour mark. And we had a lot of leaves from Yashasvi Jaiswal. Yeah, and he starts with good pace straight on, good length. Does well to get his bat down on that. Up over the 80 mark again.
Yeah, he had a good fast spell, did Ajit Singh Dale.
And there's that extra grunt, that extra bit of aggression. Well taken by Roo. Diving low behind the stumps. Gets a push from his partner at first slip.
Three slips and a gully in play here for Karan now, who just takes a look around. Sorry, gully's moved to backward point.
Yeah, early call of yes, good running. Scampering through.
Yeah, you knew that straight off the bat. There was always a one there. Point and cover slightly deeper.
Wind is definitely picking up in our little corner of the ground here, Nikki. Lost the sun temporarily, a few clouds rolling in. That's well played. This is really good bowling, this, from Ajit Singh Dale, just angling across.
This game being the first of the 2 games between England Lions and India A. Game here at Canterbury, and then we move on to the second game at Northamptonshire next week.
And that's just going to race away. Fielder coming round, does really well to get there and cut it off. I thought that had 4 written all over it. It does get a big round of applause. And it's Eddie Jack flying round, the 19-year-old.
got long strides like that, you'll definitely cover extra ground.
The exuberance of youth, I call it. I'd still be trying to get off the floor.
Benefits of being 19.
Oh, to be 19. I make myself sound like a proper middle-aged woman sometimes. Right, well, here comes Singdale. Final delivery of this over. 3 runs from it so far. And the hand comes off the bat. Again, Eddie Jack comes around, cleans up. He'll pick up one more. Khan will remain on strike for the beginning of the next over. 29 gone. India A 96 for 2.
Oh yeah, go for it. Still the scoreboard? Yeah. Good. Okay.
I just read somewhere, Georgie, that KL Rahul might be joining up with this India A side just a few days ahead of that tour beginning, because we'd like to get some extra preparations underway, and unfortunately, as the monsoon season starts to head over into India, he's not been able to get as much practice in ahead of this test series, so maybe he's planning just to join up with the India A side ahead of the second game against the Lions. Here's Eddie Jack, and Khan just playing within himself. Again, very extravagant sleeve of the ball, just takes his hands into the air.
He almost went all the way around the clock face, didn't he? It's like wielding a lightsaber.
That's an interesting way of putting it. But I can see it now. It just doesn't glow in the dark.
Or make the zhoop noise.
Can you imagine if a bat made a noise like that?
How good.
I'd be absolutely terrified. Again, not getting tempted with that one. Although he did seem like he was potentially considering playing at it on the replay.
Yeah, he got slightly caught in 2 minds, didn't he? Take himself off for a little wander to the side.
That seems to always sort them out, doesn't it? Clear your head, off to square leg, say hi to the ump.
Get some steps in.
Jack ready to go from the Nackington Road end. Second over after lunch for him. Oh, and this is a bit of a spray from Jack down the leg side. Swiftly taken by Rue though. Likes a dive.
He does, doesn't he?
Does like a dive.
I'm always in awe of wicket keepers, actually. Spend so much time squatting down, flinging yourself around. I don't know how you get out of bed and do the next day of a red ball game.
Tries to compensate with the previous delivery. A bit more width outside the off stump. And really shuffles across. Does Sarfraz Khan. Making sure there's no scope for that ball to do any other business. But yeah, really interesting actually, Georgie. Karuna and Sarfraz Khan's test career numbers are eerily similar. I'll come to it after this delivery from Eddie Jack as he's ready to set off again. Beautiful from Jack. Karuna has 374 runs from his 6 matches, whereas Sarfraz Khan has 371 runs from his 6 games. And they've both of them just played at home in India. Neither of them got a game in a 5-match away series yet. But no, it has been in England. He's warmed the bench in all 5 tests in India's tour of England back in 2018. Oh, dug this one out, and he really wanted to set off as well. No getting away for Sarfraz Khan. That will conclude the end of the 30th over. India A are 96 for 2. That was made an over there from Eddie Jack as he completes his 8th.
Yeah, good stuff this from the tall young figure of Eddie Jack. That last one, just getting his bat down in time to keep it out. And Singdale's going to continue to bowl his 8. 96 for 2 on the board after 30 overs, India A. If you're just tuning in, earlier on today, England Lions won the toss and decided they were going to put India A into bat. A lot of cloud around early on. Both openers back in the hutch. That is magnificent. Up and over, 1 bounce 4, crunched by Karen Nair on the up, using the pace of Singdale. That's another 4 to his total.
That's an absolutely beautiful shot. Super stylish there from Nair. Up and over, just rides it like a wave. Look at that. Doesn't even try to overhit it, just completely uses the pace from the ball, and it's not going to make Ajit Singdale extremely happy, that's for sure.
And that brings up the 100 for India A. 100 for 2 inside the 31st over. This time a little straighter. And just turned away by Nair. He moves on to 33 from 66. Brings Khan back on strike.
Nair on 33. Khan on 24 now, and obviously Karen Nair's had experience in England as well. Played for Northamptonshire in the county championship, and so he's somewhat more familiar with the conditions we get here in England. Nice little bit of aggression there with the shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end as well. Luckily not too big a ricochet. Slightly too close to Khan just to cut away. That's why he was eyeing up.
Yeah, just rehearsing that shot.
Probably better off playing that in front of square as opposed to getting it behind. Could risk chopping on.
Gets his bat down late again. And there's that grunt of extra aggression again from Singdale.
Yeah, nice gap there in the leg side.
So with Egon coming down, if we get the replays up and running, if an issue
102 for 2 here, India A.
would you do a bit of a reshuffle?
Little adjustment going on here. Shoelaces being done.
Egon would jump on camera and Katie.
Decided he wants to do them himself because he doesn't want someone to tie his shoes together.
He must have heard you. He doesn't trust the opposition now. What happens if they tie them together? Well, he was very quick at doing that. Never seen someone do their laces up so quickly.
Because she's a camera op as well.
Bring on the Velcro.
Yes. Yeah.
This one again just keeps it down. Just that bit of extra pace from Singdale. There's some really quick bowlers in and around coming through in these England ranks. We haven't got the likes of Chris Wokes playing today. He's part of the Lions squad, but not playing in today's game. Coming back from that ankle injury.
Yeah, he's resting for this game, but hope to see him back in action for the second one.
Right.
Josh will be cutting this.
Yeah.
Yeah, finishes the over with a dot. So started that expensively. A nice recovery by the end. 6 coming from the over. 31 gone. India A 102 for 2. Bringing up the 100 in that over. Khan 25 from his 47. Nair 33. So going along at just under 3.3 and over India A. They're happy enough ticking along there. Wickets in hand. Plenty of time in this game.
Yeah, I like how these two are just finding their groove here. Karen Nair has played some beautiful shots, and I really love the drive from Sarfaraz Khan. Straight up, first delivery after lunch. Takes on Eddie Jack, drives through the offside.
Yeah.
He's solid in defence here, though.
Yeah.
First ball went for 4 runs after lunch. Magnificent drive.
Yeah.
So it's documented. Happy with that. Happy with the way we're getting the audio in.
Nice bright sunshine now. And the spectators enjoying the sun. Floppy hats galore. Do you own a floppy hat?
I love a floppy hat, yeah, but I also have a massive head, so it's quite hard to find one the right size. The ponytail situation.
Doesn't suit me. Don't have the right face shape.
Tyler can fix an issue.
Outside the off stump, just lets it go through.
I find it a problem though if you're running in the field. How often does the floppy hat fly off?
So I feel like in men's cricket it's easier to wear the floppy hat. I think if you're trying to wear the floppy hat in women's cricket, you've got the ponytail situation coming in.
You could do an Alyssa Healy, cut a hole in it,
That's true.
but still doesn't really work.
I just think it looks a bit strange then. Defeats the floppy purpose. Yeah, the floppy purpose. Eddie Jack at the top of his mark, ready to go. Nice solid there from Khan.
We'll leave it for now.
Looking a lot more comfortable in his stride after lunch.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Still got their short sleeve sweaters and jumpers on. I'm going to say both because some people might call it a sweater, some might say it's a
I think
jumper.
I'd call it a sleeveless jumper.
Sleeveless jumper?
I've been
Or-
thinking about this one.
I've left you a lot to think about today already.
Oof. It's like I'm doing my exams.
Yeah.
This one straight to line, and this is going to be clipped away by Khan. Will it go all the way down towards the boundary? It just makes it over. Josh Hull does try to retrieve it, but unfortunately in vain, and that will be 4 runs.
He did well to get there. Covered a lot of ground very quickly. Maybe just a bit further to get down to the floor from 6'7".
It didn't come quite out the middle of the bat of Khan either. India A move on to 105 for 2. Oh, that's beautifully played. That's a beautiful shot. All the way down to the boundary for 4 runs. Just look how he goes with the swing, going away from him, leans into it. 109 for 2 now.
Yeah, that shot took a lot of appreciation from the crowd. The minute it came off the bat, he's so well balanced. Gets down to it nicely. Just a little too full, pitched up from Jack, and he knew it as soon as he let go.
That's lovely. There from Naya to end the over. 32 overs gone. India A 109 for 2. And he's got the ability to be so fluid with his wrist just because of how he cradles his bat. He keeps it so close to him, allows him to have that freedom on the offside and the leg side. And just with that boundary, the ability just to go with the swing, open up his hands a little bit. He rode it really well. He's on 37. Khan on 28 here.
Yeah, 7 coming off that over from Eddie Jack, so just pushing up that run rate slightly. Ajit Singh Dale's been pretty economical with his 8 overs, just gone for 26 runs so far. But they wouldn't mind just putting a little pressure on, accelerating the run scoring here. Singh Dale in again. Hooked away, pulled away, and it's not quite timed. There's a few cries around the ground thinking he'd got a hold of that one, and well picked up in the end.
We're going to do replays up to tea. Maybe I'll bring my laptop over. It'll always sit down.
Yeah,
in the
he
session while you're
picked up the short ball there. Didn't quite time it.
to do it.
Didn't come onto the bat as he expected.
Yeah, we do it off the top of my head.
So in the end, just 1 for all that effort.
Yeah, because it'll save me walking back over and squinting at another laptop.
It's a nice looking shot, but well stopped again. It's one of those, if you just saw a photo of the shot played, you say, right, 4. Just picks out the fielder.
You know, I've seen that somewhere. I think someone once put a profile picture up of them playing a drive. It looked beautiful, but actually when you zoom out and you see the entire the veils have gone off. I've seen that somewhere on the internet.
And it's one of those Instagram, what I posted, and then what the actual shot was. Yeah, it does well to duck out of the way of this. I'm just getting over the flexibility of these two batters. The ability to just bend over backwards, completely balanced still, and stand up as if nothing's happened.
Maybe the India A team have some yoga sessions part of their training practice. Keep the flexibility running.
We do hear a lot of this sort of cross-sport activity. I remember reading all about a lot of rugby players were taking up ballet.
Oh, that's something I'd love to see.
Well, he won't get into a football team playing that, talking about cross sports. Singdale tries to flick it up to himself.
Could you imagine some rugby players wearing...
I mean, I don't think they had to wear the tutu. I don't think that was part of it, but I think it was just all about the sort of flexibility and balance and different movements involved.
But on their tippy toes and trying to... Oh, that's a new skill altogether.
Ooh, bit of extra pace. Really bent his back on that one, did Singdale. Again, Noah ducks out of the way. There's a full tanning session going on down to our right. People appreciating the early summer sunshine. That sort of after lunch, people still strolling back in from wherever they've decided to find their lunchtime delicacies on this nice Friday afternoon. It's just kept down nicely. Does well to find a gap and chases on. It's going to be cut off and they'll come back for a second. So 2 off the final ball of the over, 3 from that over. 33 overs gone. India A 112 for 2 after being put into bat this morning by the England Lions.
Yeah, the 2 wickets that fell were first of Abhimanyu Ishwaran, trapped LBW of the bowling of Hull. That was when they had 12 runs on the board. And then second wicket to fall was of Yashasvi Jaiswal, caught behind of the bowling of Eddie Jack. And again, he went all guns blazing behind that one. And then, well, since then, since being 51 for 2, these two have really got on with things and put up a nice little steady partnership. 112 for 2 as Eddie Jack continues from the Nackington Road end. This one jags back and has an appeal, but again, not too convincing and just sliding down the leg side. Again, we're not in the best position to really call that. Unfortunately, not directly behind the pitch.
It's very difficult to call from where we're sitting. We're sort of
We're at deep
wide,
cow corner.
yeah, deep cow corner.
3 slips in play. He's right on his toes here. Sarfraz Khan drops it dead in front of him. And he just gets a little bit awkward, Khan, when it comes back into him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Eddie Jack use that a little bit more, actually. Just try and tuck up Khan.
I'm thinking that maybe perhaps bowling to Khan, if you can get a second gully in place and outswinging a half volley, might just cause something to happen. This one is solid in defence. And just the way he sets himself up and brings that bat down, he'll definitely have a second gully in business if you can get the ball just to swing away. Nice half volley. See if he gets tempted into that. Jack making his way back to the top of his mark. See some spectators walking around the ground with an ice cream in their hand as well, enjoying the sunshine. There's one a bit of a spray down the leg side. And
He's had a feel for that though, hasn't he, Khan?
yeah, it's got a bit carried away. Four dots in the over so far from Jack here into his 10th. He's already set off again. Wind blowing against him. Another one down the leg side, and Ruse quickly to the dive and take that one. Loves the dive.
That's a good dive, that. Not the tallest keeper, does manage to stretch himself fully to the left.
And very textbook as well. You know, like how you're taught to dive. You're looking at me as though I'm off on one, but you're taught to dive in a certain way, otherwise it can be quite painful. Oh, this one clipped away. It won't find the boundary. It will find Sing Dale though. And it will just be the single. And that will also conclude the end of the over. 34 overs gone. India a 113 for 2 with Khan moving on to 30. Karuna on 39.
Yeah, this partnership's looking very comfortable now. Came together at 51. Now 113 for 2. And they're just playing. They're not really playing any risky kind of shots. They're just waiting on that bad ball a few times. But a very small sprinkling of times they've been sort of tempted or caught in two minds. But rarely have we seen a false shot from these two. And India A will be pretty pleased with the progress after losing those 2 wickets. Middle order being able to sort of flex their muscles a little bit.
The Lions just getting together. James Giroux and Ajit Singh Dale having a word about the field they want. Khan shadowing a solid defence as he waits for the Lions to take their field. Well, he had a brilliant season. Returned to the Indian squad after smashing 222 not out against the rest of India side in the Irani Cup. Also a brilliant 150 in a losing cause though against New Zealand in Bangalore. And as for Naya, as I think we're going to have someone round the back.
We are bringing a man in under the lid.
Oh, isn't that exciting? Ajit Singh Dale fancies a man under the lid, and I think we're just... Oh,
So he is under the lid, and now he's been forced...
it's a leg slip with a helmet on.
Leg slip with a helmet on. Different. I like it.
I think it's just in case. They're going to switch it up for both batters, so we'll have to wait and see. But as of now, it's going to be Sarfaraz Khan on strike.
Just dropped into that leg side. For a moment, thought he was going to try and run through for one.
And cramping him up. Helmet on at leg slip. And just as we say, that's going to be changing the field. Typical. They never think about the commentators here, do they? Just as we explain the field. Deep square leg, fine leg third. And a deep point for Khan.
Yeah, Benz is back into this one. Singh Dale.
Really heard the grunt there as well. 113 for 2, India, eh?
Well, here comes Singdale again. Just turned away for one. Man coming round from deep fine leg. You sort of wonder at this point where they're going to find this next boundary, next wicket even. The England Lions, two very well set batters out in the middle, not looking like taking it on, taking any risks. Very comfortable to just rotate the strike when they need to, take on that bad ball. And England are going to have to start being innovative if they're going to want to break this partnership.
That's probably why we're seeing a short leg in place.
Again, hits the deck to Singdale.
Tom Haynes has been given the task at first slip to make sure that ball keeps as shiny as it can be.
Nothing to do with having a sweaty forehead, though.
He'll probably tell me off after that, so I'm not going to say anything.
Pulled away in the gap, and he's going to pick up 4. Breaks the shackles on a very tidy over otherwise. Just sat up. Singdale hits the floor again. And when he stands up, all he can see is the ball being fetched from beyond the boundary.
Swivels nicely there, does Karunar. Just loads up on the back foot a bit and helps it round. Also guides it, then tries to actually force the shot.
Watch your life flash before your eyes if you're under that lid there.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Right, one to come from Singdale. This time goes leg side again, not quite timed, but he'll retain strike for the beginning of the next over. 6 runs coming from that. Just starting to accelerate a bit here, these two. 35 gone, India A, 119 for 2. Nair into the 40s. Khan keeping him happily comfortable at the other end on 31.
I absolutely love how short leg went to duck there, but just dropped their head in between their legs. Had no idea where the ball was going. It was straight off the middle of the bat as well. It's going to be Eddie Jack to continue. Singdale. Long locks, headband, makes his way to fine leg. Nair on strike. This goes with the hands on this one a little bit. Okay, it runs to backward point.
He looked quite frustrated with himself, didn't he? As if he felt that deserved to be hit away. No, sort of takes himself off for a wander, does a bit of gardening. I think that's what you always do, isn't it? Just, oh, I'll just do a bit of gardening. It was definitely the pitch.
Well, you can't ever tell the bowler it's them. Don't want to give them any more confidence, do you? Nicely played. Fine now. Nice looking shot for none. Gives it a quick shadow after he makes contact. I think I saw Luke Wright sat there in the England Lions dugout during lunch. Or either a Luke Wright lookalike, but I'm pretty sure it was Luke Wright. Slightly back of a length here from Jack.
Still pushing up over that 80 mark at the moment. Eddie Jack, 19 years old, been great for the England under-19s. They were also obviously over in South Africa over the winter time, the England under-19s, and got a lot of coaching and advice from Dale Steyn, and it's not bad to have someone like that as a mentor.
Eddie Jack from the Nackington Road end. This one a straighter one, and this is clipped away by Naya. And it should find the boundary. It does. Very well timed. Beautiful head position, and that will be 4 runs.
Yeah, just a little too straight this time from Eddie Jack. And Nair is going to chew that up all day long. He moves on to 48 from the 82 he's faced, eyeing up a half century here. And it's just really nicely weighted on this. Turns it away, doesn't have to give it any power. Helps it on the way.
India A move on to 123 for 2. Rob Key just taking a stroll around the ground here in Canterbury. That one left alone. Just brings his line back.
Yeah, good response this from Jack. Just, as we said, the previous one just that bit too straight. This time further outside the off stump. Lets it go through. Naya on 48.
Not much change in the field either here for Naya. Just straight a bit too straight. And got hit for a 4 in this one. Straight through. And that will conclude the end of the 36th over. India A 123 for 2. Just the one boundary off it. It was a beautiful flick off the legs by Karun Naya.
Did well to keep his balance on that last delivery. Ended up in a sort of bent over one leg, back leg up in the air situation. That's why you do your yoga.
Acrobatic.
Acrobatic. 1 minute bending over backwards, next minute bending over on one leg. It's phenomenal. Anyway, India 8, 123 for 2 after the 36. They were put into bat earlier on today. Khan and Naya building a really nice partnership here. Naya eyeing up a half century. Khan 31 from 61. We'll be facing up for the beginning of the next over. And we had a change in bowler again. So we're going to have Zaman Akhtar back onto bowl. A bit of pace again. He's coming in from the pavilion end this time, so we've seen him from both ends. James Rue decided that he's going to remove Singh Dale for now, who just started to leak a few runs. As here comes Akhtar. Pulled away, and there is a man down there at fine leg, so it'll just be 1 to Khan.
Love how he controlled that to keep it along the ground. On 24 for 2.
Right, so now back on strike, eyeing up that half century. Got 2 slips. Sort of a backward point. So here comes Akhtar. And this is crunched through the covers, and that's going to be the half century for Naya. It's going to go for 4. And it's just nicely played. It just sat up, was there to be hit, and there's a round of applause reverberates around the Spitfire ground. He gets a hug from his batting partner, and he's been in great form here in the sunshine in Canterbury.
Absolutely a brilliant shot there to bring up his half century. Claps from the dugout, claps from around the ground. Still got a lot of work left to do. He's played some beautiful strokes throughout this innings. Brings up his half century in 85 deliveries.
And just pays the next delivery the respect it deserves. Oh, never a bad time to sort of just keep bringing your name up in the heads of those selectors as we head into the England-India 5-match series this summer. This one helped on the way, and again the fielder comes around, cuts it off, so it'll just be 1 more to the total. And one more to Naya. He's starting to look much freer out there in the middle, not getting tucked up so much.
Yeah, looking very comfortable out there, and as he's been named in India's squad for that test series against England, he'll definitely be making sure that he gets the selectors looking at him and say, come on, play me in that 11.
Very little foot movement from Khan.
He's been here on tour back in 2018. Didn't get to play a game, but then since has had experience in England. Played for Northamptonshire, scored a bucket load of runs for them. Averaged 48.7 in the county championship.
Just squirts this way into the onside, does Khan. So he adds another to his total, another to the total, and he'll keep on strike for the beginning of the next over. 7 runs coming from that Akhtar over, 37 gone. India A 130 for 2.
There was even a double century, an unbeaten double century against Glamorgan back in 2024. For Naya. Of course, his Ranji Trophy side. Vidarbha winning the trophy earlier in February this year, although that seems like ages ago. He scored 863 runs in his 9 matches, including 4 centuries and 2 50s. So it's safe to say it's about time that he gets that call up in again. He scored 86 and 135 in the final against Kerala, which helped Vidarbha clinch their 3rd Ranji Trophy title.
You'd sort of be looking at your numbers there and think, what else do I need to do?
Absolutely. Well, he's been out the side for 7 years, making a return into the squad. Josh Hull from the Nackington Road End. Back of the length, and Khan just respectfully defends. Quite like this angle here from Hull against Khan. It's going to cramp him for room. Being tight body line to the right-hander. It's on 33. Oh, this one's a bit of a waft outside the off stump from Khan. Could have been just happy to leave that.
It's kind of delivery you want to bowl at the death of a T20, isn't it? The wide Yorker. Very hard to execute.
Khan somewhat tempted by it. This one shorter, just rides with it. Runs to backward point. Khan having missed the second half of the Ranji Trophy season due to a rib injury. That's back fit and ready to go here.
Such a tricky one, a rib injury. There's not a lot you can really do to deal with it, except try not to cough or laugh.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
It hurts when you sleep.
Yeah, you can't really escape using your ribs, can
Hurts
you?
when you breathe too deeply.
Can't get away with not breathing either. This one straighter line, slightly overpitched from Hull, and will come through for the single. He's also got himself in incredible shape, Sarfraz Khan. He's lost a whopping 10 kilos in a very short span of time. I know fitness was a topic of concern regarding him and his selection within the main squad, but he really had a point to prove. Lost 10 kilos in no time. Oh, lovely delivery here from Hull. Just playing the first line once again, doesn't go with it.
Yeah, it's a peach of a delivery from Josh Hull, and you can see, just signalling that just kicked up, and there he is again. Held the pose for a long time, is just practicing that shot, but a little something out of the pitch there for Josh Hull.
This one on the off stump. And that's blocked off by Nair to conclude the end of the 38th over. India 131 for 2. Khan with 34. Nair on 53. Minimum 52 overs left in the day. And, well, the Indian selectors have announced an 18-member squad with the new skipper, of course. 25-year-old Shubman Gill has been appointed captain, with Rishabh Pant as his deputy for the main India side. And just looking at the squad in terms of batters, obviously we've got Gill, Rishabh Pant in, Yashasvi Jaiswal, KL Rahul, Sai Sudarshan, Abhimanyu Ishwaran, Karun Nair and Dhruv Jurel.
Here comes Akhtar for his 9th over of the day. It's just turned away by Khan. He'll move on to 35.
It's got Nitish Kumar Reddy, Shardul Thakur, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Prasid Krishna, Akash Deep. Arshdeep Singh is also making an appearance here as well. Nitish Kumar Reddy, you mentioned him. Got a bit of Jadeja and Washington Sundar to help in the bowling department, the spin bowling department. I'm excited for this test series though. I feel like both teams equal balance. We're in for a cracker.
Yeah, it's well bowled. Good length. Yeah, it was a really exciting series. The Border Gavaskar Trophy from the end of 24 to 25. Obviously, India dominating in that first game, and then Australia fighting back, but it was a gripping series.
Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli announcing their retirement from Test cricket just a few weeks ago. A lot of people and fans still coming to terms with it.
Again, well kept down. Actually, some of the discussion sort of after, especially Kohli's retirement from Test cricket, has made it sound like we're sort of talking like a eulogy. You know, oh, he's still playing international cricket. He's still out there playing.
He is, but now that he's retired from 2 formats, I think the amount of times we get to see him in a year is very little compared to what fans are normally used to seeing. And it's a big moment, of course, what he's done for Test cricket, Indian Test cricket. He's really brought that fire aspect into the way India plays.
Here comes Akhtar again. Again, just kept down by Nair. And then there's always going to be the rumour mill flowing of whether a county can nab him and who wants him.
I did see that article, the one that you're referring to, and it would be interesting. There's a few counties who'd love to have Virat Kohli come and play some, I think it was county championship matches and a few Metrobank one-day fixtures. And
Can you imagine? Metrobank fever would go into overdrive. Akhtar in again. He's quite late onto that. There's 9, well stopped.
yeah, a bit frustrated didn't get that past the fielder at point. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this young new side do under the guidance of Shubman Gill, one of India's youngest Test captains.
Akhtar for the final delivery of this over. Lovely looking drive, can only pick out the fielder at extra cover. So just the 1 run from that over from Akhtar. He's bowled 9 now for just 21. 39 overs gone. India A, 132 for 2. Khan 35. Nair 53. That strike rate, that run rate still up over 3.3. So they'll be happy enough with that.
Yeah, first test at Leeds, and then we go to Edgbaston. We come down south to London, where we have the third test at Lords, and go back up north to Old Trafford for the Manchester test, which is on the 23rd of July, and then we conclude the series with the fifth and final test at the Oval. I do love the Oval. It's a cracker of an atmosphere as well.
A T20 at the Oval on a Thursday, Friday night, and you're set for the weekend.
I still remember India's last test match at the Oval. Absolutely delightful. What a win they had. This one guided nicely by Khan. That will find the fielder at third. Will just be a single. Rolls with the height quite nicely there. As Josh Hull makes his way back to the top of the mark. He looks a bit deflated, does Hull.
Yeah, obviously had that early breakthrough. Seems a long time ago now, this morning. Get rid of the captain. But since then, not really had any opportunity to make his mark.
And this one plays extremely late. Ball drops ever so close to him. I think that's just perhaps one of the dangers of playing the ball too late. If you play it too late, the chances of it maybe chopping onto the stumps. It really depends on that bat angle. What a glorious day it is here in Canterbury now at the Spitfire ground. This one finds a thickish outer edge down towards third. Now we'll nick a single and the score moves on to 134 for 2. Beautiful day. You're listening to myself, Nikki Chowdhury, and Georgie Heath, talking you through day one of England Lions versus India A.
Seen Eddie Jack's mum wander across in front of us. She looks a lot less stressed than she did before things kicked off this morning.
We've lost a slip as well. 2 slips now. Oh, and your eyes go up and over. And this will find the boundary. Again, just the way he's rode with that. The fluidity he needs, just brilliant there from Khan.
It's a hell of an effort to get something on that, because that had really kicked up. He manages to, he's not the tallest batter out there, but he's managed to really get up on his toes, use his hands and get them above his head and help it on the way.
I think that's where T20 cricket helps. You get some deliveries like that. You wouldn't really see that maybe a few years ago. But since these players have got themselves more involved in the white ball stuff, it's transitioning into this game as well. This one just dropped into the leg side. Again, cramps him up a bit, and Hull stares ferociously back down to Khan. Goodness, he didn't like being taken up and over for a boundary, did he?
It's when you picture says 1,000 words, all you have to do is stare.
6'7", staring down at Sarfraz Khan. This one looks to cut just slightly close to him, but will make it down to third for a single. And that will conclude the end of the 10th over from Josh Hull. And India A, 139 for 2 after 40 overs.
Yeah, these two both looking very comfortable now. Well set. Khan into the 40s now. Nair already made his half century. So very comfortable. Communication's been good. They've run the singles well. They've taken on the bad ball, and hardly ever have we seen them really have a waft at too much and do anything too risky. So there's some head scratching to be done here for the England Lions if they have to think about how they're going to try and break this partnership, because at the moment no one seems to be really finding any kind of way through. As Akhtar is going to start his 10th over, gone for 21 so far from the pavilion end. This just turned away by Khan, happy to just take those singles, rotate the strike, dot up the ones. Score moves on to 140 for 2.
A lovely partnership of 89 between these two.
So now on 54. Very late again, just drops his hands onto this one. I feel like it's slightly less busy than it was this morning, Nikki. Do you think people just not come back from their lunch yet?
No, I think everyone's found their positions and now they're all a bit comfortable after lunch. You know, that post.
Yeah, the post-lunch lull.
Also, you wouldn't really want to move when you're watching these two bat. I think I'd be a bit superstitious.
Again, just dropped into the offside. Do you have any superstitions when you're playing?
No.
No.
No, not really.
I always try and not develop superstitions because then once you pick up one, you start picking up more and then you have to go through a whole routine before your routine almost.
And you get yourself into a bit of a rut as well, don't you? Then if you think that, oh, something was slightly out of rhythm and you didn't like do your superstition or your routine as per normal, then you don't want to be blaming that.
Finds a top edge. That's going to be 4. Has a slash at this one. And Naya just continues flying here now. He moves on to 58 from 99. Score moves on to 144.
It is really easing through this here, Karan Naya. Quickly gets his hands through. He had full control on it as well. Knew exactly where he wanted to go with it. England Lions just will be pretty keen to break this partnership. That time to his 10th over.
Just walks at this one, does Karan Naya. We saw Yashasvi Jaiswal do that quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, looks a bit fidgety there. And a bit frustrated. I believe he might have got it away. 5 runs off the over so far.
I'm trying to think if I've ever heard of any really weird superstitions. You know, quite often you just hear sort of have to put your left pad on first, your right pad on first.
You get routines, I can understand that. And I think it's a bit borderline between a routine and a superstition.
Yeah, final delivery of the over this from Akhtar. And just drops the hands, drops the bat, and there's a few cries in the slips, but he'll pick up another 4. So 9 off this over. End of the 41st, 148 for 2.
It's going to be time for drinks. Sarfaraz Khan looks extremely keen to get a drink down him. He's practically pacing off the pitch. But yeah, I think it's important, like, on the superstitions, it's a bit borderline, right? I think as soon as you start to think that if I don't do this, then it will affect my performance, that's when you can term it a superstition. But sometimes I think just for fluidity or routine, you might be used to putting your left pad on first, then right, and then you do your thigh pad. And you know. So
I feel unbalanced because I will always put...
Like, I never put my right thigh pad on first, my right pad on first. It would feel very weird.
Well, I would always put my left on first, yeah. Whereas, okay, to weird things, I would always put the TV volume on an odd number.
Are you okay?
Exactly.
Okay.
Weird one. But at the drinks break here at the Spitfire ground in Canterbury, 148 for 2. India A, after being put into bat today, they'll be feeling very comfortable with this one. This partnership built really nicely, came together when Jaiswal went, score was on 51, now 148 for 2. So edging towards that 100 partnership between Khan and Naya. Naya 62, Khan 42, eyeing up a half century of his own. England Lions just really struggling to try and find a way to break this partnership that's just built really nicely through the sort of mid-morning to the mid of the afternoon session.
Yeah, 2 early breakthroughs, and then these two put on a 97-run partnership between them. Karunaya bringing up his half-century from 85 deliveries. And India bringing up 100 on the board in the 31st over. These two have just gone about their business pretty nicely. Played each ball on merit, no overhitting. And then have sent the slightly looser deliveries to the boundary. We've had 1-6 in the innings so far as well, which was off from Jaiswal, where he really took Josh Hull to the cleaners. Short delivery poured away towards the burger shack here at the ground. And of course, if you're in about the Canterbury area, head on down. Tickets available at the gate. As England Lions look to get their 3rd breakthrough. Currently having a drink. And all I spot is Karunaya. I can't see Sarfaraz Khan out there. Maybe he's popped inside quickly for a quick
nature break.
A nature break. That's a nice way of putting it.
He did set off quickly though, didn't he?
He was very quick. Like charging towards the dressing room. Lions have had their drinks. Rehan Hamid just shadows.
And that's one of those. Has he been told to do that, or is he just trying to gain a little bit of attention from his captain?
Well, I don't think he's bowling now. He's heading down towards 3rd.
Maybe he's just doing that thing. I actually have quite a few friends who do sort of shadow bowl and shadow bat, and I sort of look at them and think it's quite often a thing that the boys do, especially on train platforms when they're waiting for a train. The amount of times I've seen someone just shadow leave, and it's shadow leaves, which I find very strange.
I think it's inevitable if you're a cricketer, a budding cricketer, that you just end up shadowing wherever you are.
You're either a budding cricketer or someone who's just completely missed that boat now, and you're living off the past.
You could be playing club cricket on a Saturday morning and you had an absolute cheap one, and then you're shadowing it whilst you do your Sunday shop at Sainsbury's or wherever you do your food shop.
The rebuild after losing their openers. Just the 2 wickets go down. Hull picked up the first, and then one also for Eddie Jack. But aside from that, I mean, England Lions now really got some head scratching to do to think about.
Sarfaraz Khan is back.
He's striding back out to the middle. It's a very purposeful walk, isn't it?
It's a bit like an army march as he's made his way back out there. Quickly gets his helmet on. The Lions are all ready to go. Yeah, you see plenty of people shadowing around.
I feel like that's
budding cricketer or not.
It's shadow cricket and shadow golf. You never see anyone sort of shadow badmintoning or shadow basketball, you know.
Shadow paddling?
Shadow paddle, yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's something I could get on board with. There's a complete obsession of this sport, isn't there now? Everyone seems to be playing paddle.
It's good. It is good.
Is it like a mixture of tennis and squash?
Yes.
Okay. Here's Josh Hull from the Nackington Road end. And this one just played down towards deep backward square leg. Not fully in control on that one. Score moves on to 149.
Yes, the new social activity. I actually have been to meetings where you play paddle as your kind of meeting, and then you have coffee rather than just going for a meeting. But it's also because I don't play golf, so maybe I can't have a golf meeting. And no one wants to play crazy golf as a meeting. It's not very serious.
Yeah, I don't think you'd crack the deal. Straight to delivery there from Hull, and nah, just finds mid on. Two slips in play now.
Yeah.
Carl making his way back to the top of his mark. Oh, and this one just squares Coronar up a little bit as he looks to turn that into the leg side. It's leading edge into the off. Lands safe, and lots of important people walking around the ground today, George. You've just spotted Alex Stewart walking around as well. We've seen Rob Key, Luke Wright's here.
Friday afternoon, why not head on down? Yeah, they're all strolling around, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all like marching around the ground.
Lurking. They're
I
lurking.
think that was a march from
That
Alex
was a
Stewart.
march.
He was a man on a mission. Oh, and this one just jacks back a little bit, stays lower. Grabs him on the thigh pad. 149 for 2.
He's just stopped over to the left of us, Alex Stewart.
Oh, he's giving an autograph. For one of the kids. Yep, signing his cap.
Yeah, please just keep an eye on it. See if it drops out.
Oh, and this one's a big swoosh outside the off stump there from Naya. That's gone straight through to Rue with the gloves. Not sure where his head was at for that one, actually. It was giving me a bit of whiffs of Jeswal's dismissal.
Whiffs of it.
Whiffs of Jeswal's dismissal.
Oh, there's a blue ice cream going past us in front.
I just don't think it's ice cream weather, but each to their own. That's better from Hull. Get Naya forward. Get him playing. And that will also conclude the end of the 42nd over. 149 for 2. Connor 43-9 with 62 to his name. And here we are at the Spitfire ground in Canterbury. England Lions versus India A. First game of the 2. And Sarfraz Khan and Karuna out there in the middle. Ticking things on pretty nicely for India A after they lost 2 wickets. 51 for 2, and then they've been together since.
Looks like we are going to have a change in bowling. So Rayan Ahmed wasn't just trying to get everyone's attention by warming up his shoulder. He is going to have a bowl. Yeah.
Finally have some spin.
The 20-year-old bowling a bit of some of his leggies. England's youngest ever test. Look, I can't speak. Can't get my words out. England's youngest ever test player finds himself in the Lions squad for these couple of games. Obviously Farhan Ahmed also we've seen strolling around the outfield, carrying some of the drinks around. Family affair cricket, isn't it? He's in now. Lets this one go outside the off stump.
Bowls a leg spin at a decent pace, doesn't he, Rayan Ahmed?
Just forced back in his crease this time. This time driven past the diving extra cover. So the first run off Rayan Ahmed's bowling. Khan moves on to 44.
That brings up 150 on the board for India A. 150 for 2. Bring
Right.
that up in the 43rd over.
Yeah, they'll be happy enough with this. 99 partnership now. This time rocks off the back foot, can't get it past cover. There's a kid in a Hardick shirt wanders past us. I've seen a lot of Hardick shirts today.
Yeah, like now in DLC,
Again, rocks off the back foot. And that will bring up the 100 partnership between Khan and Naya. They came together at 51 for 2 when Jaiswal went. And now they've really rebuilt this innings and are pushing on for India A. The round of applause goes around the ground as spectators become aware of the milestone. Lovely dab. And Fielder not going to catch up with it, so it's 4 more to the total. Khan moves on to 48. He's eyeing up a half century too. 6 off Rayan Ahmed's first over. 43 gone. India A 155 for 2.
That was a very smart little dab there from Khan. Actually raced away to the boundary, and it's safe to say, George, I don't think spin is going to be too much of a challenge against these batters. Very used to it. Very good technique against spin as well. Especially the pace Rayan Ahmed bowls at. They'll be licking their lips. Josh Hull to continue from the Nackington Road end. This one rides on it off the back foot, down towards deep point. They'll come back for 2. Good running. And he's been struck on the head with the throw back down towards the non-striker's end. Has Sarfraz Khan.
Yeah, he's lost his helmet in the process.
He's lost his helmet. He looks a little bit taken back there. Don't blame him. That struck him right on the back of the head, and immediately there was a signal up towards the physio in the dressing room, so he needs to come down and check him out. Definitely going to be a concussion test now. He looks a bit uncomfortable. That came in at a fair whiz from the boundary as well. He's just leaning onto his bat. Physio making his way out. And just shakes hand with Rayan Ahmed, who was the fielder who threw the ball in, and says it's all right. I know you didn't mean it. If you just watch it again, Rayan Ahmed quick to pick up and throw. He chucks it back and completely hits him on the back of the head. Not even on the helmet by the looks of it. Just getting some treatment now from the physio. Checks that he's okay. That's definitely going to leave a bruise, Georgie.
It was when his helmet came off as well. So I have to go through all those questions, sort of, what day is it? I'm never sure what they ask. I think players have specific questions to them, don't they?
Yeah, so apparently what I heard is that you have specific questions, like you can choose what your questions are, and then you have to tell the physio obviously what your answers would be, and they have these sets of questions for each player depending on who gets hit, and they have to run through them, and the player has to make sure they answer them correctly. And now he's checking that he can see 4 fingers in front. Can you see that?
How many fingers?
Well, he's got a smile on his face. He can take his time. That's not going to be nice to recover from. And his teammates Tushar Deshpande and Dhruv just having a bit of a laugh there with him. At least he's got a smile on his face. That's good to see.
Yeah. It's quite... not really seen anything like that before. The helmet coming off. It's quite something.
He really picked it up and whizzed it in, did Rayan Ahmed from the boundary.
The England players just hanging out in the middle. A few of them going through some stretches, having a discussion while this is all going on. A few fans stretching their legs, wandering around the outside. Alex Stewart signing a few more autographs.
Well, now he's been spotted. He's going to be pretty difficult for him to escape all these autographs. They're all running up to him, queuing there. Sign my cap, sign my bat. He seems all right now to Sarfraz Khan as the physio heads off, has a quick word with the umpire, and is now ready to set back towards the dressing room. Sarfraz Khan now at the non-strikers end, shadowing a front foot defence. It's definitely going to leave a bruise though, that is for sure. 157 for 2 India, eh?
There's more and more ice creams wandering across in front of us now, Nikki.
Straighter line from Hull. No, straight off the middle of that to short mid-wicket. Sarfaraz Khan has got a ball to the head as he was coming back for a second run towards the non-striker's end. Seems all right now. Has a word with Curran now, who's on strike. And this one's cut away. Changes his angle here. Does Hull. Comes round the wicket to the right-hander. And that will just be a couple of runs.
Yeah, the score moves on to 158 for 2. So just the one in the end.
That's the one in the end. Khan on 48. This one straight back into the right-hander.